Hi everybody. So I am back with another video. A little while back I had shared a Tales of You and Me Prima paper collection, an altered tray that I used for that paper collection. I'm sorry, I'm speaking backwards. I created an altered tray with the Prima collection, Tales of You and Me. I did have a couple of questions about how I go about altering a tray that has curved lines, or a tray that's not exactly square. So if this was squared off, it would be a lot easier. I do have a couple of ways. Now, my ways are just the ways that work for me. If you guys have an easier way, or if you watch this and something easier comes along for you, that's awesome. Go for it. But this way is the way that I do it, and it works totally fine for me. So I'm just going to show you quickly what I use. A ruler. I use this scratch paper. You could use not vellum, tracing paper, anything like that. This one is a pad. It's a very long pad that I cut down from Simon Says Stamp. I use scissors, a pencil. This is going to be for the gluing of the paper, which I use this. Okay, so it's by Ranger. I used to use the other one by, oh my goodness, I forgot. It was the other designer, but it's multimedia matte. This is, I find, much better for me than Mod Podge. It might look like it's going to bubble at first, but when you smooth it out and it dries, this is the best one. It lays completely flat. Okay, and then I use these filing tools. These are from a distress kit that I don't remember if it was Making Memories. It's a very old kit. I also have the different colors, basic gray made one, but it's probably the same exact set. And what they are a bunch of files. You get like a nail file, and then these types of file. If you could see, this one is like round, this one's flat. This is another one that's flat, but it has, instead of a flat edge, it has an angled edge. And then I use a bone folder. I like this bone folder. It's Teflon, nothing sticks to it, especially when you're using glue. It's just great, but this is what I use. Some people use like a debit credit card or like a gift card to smooth the edges, but that's what I use. And here's my, I'm working on another project, but a paper towel or whatever, baby wipes, whatever. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the basics, because what you can do, what I do with the insides, because it's relatively square or rectangular, I just very simply measure. This is also a much smaller tray, so I was glad that I found the smaller one. This one's about 8 by, or 8 1/4 by about 12. So this is great because the other one was much larger. And if you were going to paper it, you needed more than 12 by 12 to paper it. So, you know, I would just measure it. And because I either painted or spray painted, I'm not worried about the paper going edge to edge, because I like the paint or the spray paint to show through. So again, like I said, this is going to look very silly or archaic. I put this cardstock or whatever designer paper I'm using behind it to give myself a little stability, and I stick the piece of paper down here. And this was a bigger piece, so it was like this. I trace it with my pencil, so I usually just hold it down like this, trace it, oops, trace it, trace in here. And what I do is I label the paper, because the inside is not going to be the same measurement as the outside. Because there's an edge inside here that you can't see, the inside piece is going to be shorter. And I always find that this, especially this part, is also maybe smaller or off. So I'll write on a piece of paper, you know, right inside, left inside, right outside, left outside. And then I'll do the same here. I'll put, like, if the tray is being held like this is the right outside, the right inside. Now again, this is the way I do it because my lazy way was just to trace the outside and kind of finagle and cut off and do the insides, and I didn't like that result. So anyway, you get that. Okay, I cut that out. And how did I do that? Very simply, I took my scissors, and be careful not to poke yourself, but I went in, I cut myself enough to manage the scissor in there. Let me just, okay. And then I go slightly inside the pencil marks as well, because I found that the pencil mark somehow makes the paper bigger than it has to be. Okay. And like I said, it's not super completely perfect. Okay. So now, what is that? Sorry, I have like sticky glue and something or other somewhere. Oy, oy, oy. Okay. Let me see, am I in frame? There we go. Okay, so as best I can, now pretending that this is the designer paper you're going to use, right? This is after you trace your initial frame onto your designer paper. You want to be a little more neat than I'm being right here, but this is just for demonstration. So there we go. Okay. Okay. We'll just put that there now. And what you're left with is this. So let's pretend this is the, is it the right inside? Which one did I do? Did I do this one? Okay. So let's say this is the right inside. And then I just put like right in. Okay, just so that I know if I step away and I come back and, you know. Okay, so then what I do is I take my thing, my tool, and then I, you know, go around, brush it, or brush it this way, and I stick it down. Okay, so if you can see there, it's actually pretty good. And like I said, I'm not bothered by that because I might even distress this piece of paper and glue it down, and the paint's going to show here. But what I wanted to show you was, see how you can see the paper. Let me see if it's going to focus. There we go. Okay. Now, I don't like that because that bothers me. So anyway, and plus I'm thinking the recipient is going to take this, hold it, and then going to either get a paper cut or just know that I didn't bother to do, you know, finish the job. But that's me personally. If you're not bothered by that, that's totally cool. What do I start to do? I take my nail file, and usually I do the rough side first just to scrape. See, focus so that why isn't it focusing? Hello. Okay, right? So now I start to scrape, 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 and what happens is the paper eventually starts to file off. You see how that happened? Okay, and depending on what type of cardstock or designer paper you use, it'll be easier or harder. So then I take the smoother side, smooth it out, and if it's giving me a real hard time, I will start working it with these tools. And because I have a rounded one, I can easily just go around like this, smooth it out. And what happens is the paper flakes off, but if you have enough glue there, it also starts kind of getting worn down with the glue. And again, because this is painted or spray painted, you'll never know that it's there because the paint will show through. So then you go like this, and some more of the paper comes off. And then when you run your finger and you feel like it's smooth enough and no one's going to get hurt with a paper cut, or, you know, sometimes the wood is rough, like right there, I'll even file the wood down. But that's that. So what you'll find is then the paper starts to get smooth, and it'll start to work itself out where you won't see a big line of paper like you do here. So that is what I do. I hope it helped. If you have any more questions, what I wanted to show you was when I lay a paper down here and I glue it down with this, sometimes what I like to do is take a paper towel if I feel like my hands are going to get super dirty, because I don't want to get my hands glue like gummy and then touch the paper and ruin the paper. So I'll do this. I'll go like this around the corners, like this, smooth it out, and then, you know, be on my way. So I hope that helped. I hope that was clear, but that really is the way that I do it. I know it looks backwards, but anyway, I hope it helped, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.